It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the.
What's up, guys? Lance, the Obscure Movie Guy, coming to you once again, bringing you another fun-filled, fact-filled video. And today's subject is going to be badass women. We are in the midst of Women's History Month. International Women's Day was on March 8th. Over at the mustacheandthebeard.com, it's Women's Empowerment Month, where I wrote a blog for them featuring Cynthia Rothrock. I know some of you saw it. Last year I actually did a video on March 8th on Cynthia Rothrock, because it's also her birthday, not just Women's Day. So 2 years in a row I've done something on Cynthia. So I would be remiss if I didn't do at least one video this month that focused in on some badass women in the film industry, and we're going to focus in on three action female stars, Milla Jovovich, Kate Beckinsale, and Jennifer Garner. And we're going to go over some slightly obscure movies that they've been in. All of them are well known for certain things. We're going to talk about Milla Jovovich first, and we all know her with Resident Evil and how badass she is in that. And there's no doubt about that. She's hardcore. Started work as a model many moons ago, went on to be an actress, did Fifth Element, Everybody Loves Multipass, and so we're going to talk about her first. We're going to talk about a movie that was it was a UK and US based production. Actually came out in theaters in the UK, but went straight to video here in the United States. But it is called 2015's Survivor. Survivor is a 2015 British-American action spy thriller directed by James McTeague and written by Philip Shelby. The film stars Milla Jovovich, Pierce Brosnan, Robert Forster, Angela Bassett, James Darcy, and Dylan McDermott. Kate Abbott, who is played by Milla Jovovich, is a diplomatic security agent working for the American Embassy in London, who began working for the government after most of her friends were killed in 9/11. While she is implementing more stringent rules for visa applications for potential terrorist suspects, most of her team are killed while at a restaurant birthday party for their superior, Bill Tabbitt, who is played by Robert Forster. An investigation into the attack reveals the bomb has traces of chromium, leading her superior at the embassy, Sam Parker, who's played by Dylan McDermott, to deduce that the perpetrator was the watchmaker, quote-unquote, who's played by Pierce Brosnan. One of the world's most wanted killers, known for his precision work, who detonated a bomb with similar traces in Paris 2 years earlier. Nobody knows the watchmaker's appearance, as he has had lots of plastic surgery over the years. Kate's subsequent attempts to find out the cause of the explosion reveal that Bill was being blackmailed for certain visa applications to get through, and the man behind the attack was indeed the watchmaker. This overall wasn't that bad of a movie. I mean, it's a storyline that's, like most movies these days, it's been pretty played out. A couple of different twists. It was filmed on location between, I think it was filmed in London for 5 weeks, and then it moved to location in Bulgaria to wrap up filming. But I think what I like most about this movie is, we all see Milla Jovovich in Resident Evil, and we know she can kick ass. And what I like about this movie is that she does still kick ass in the long run, but it's a little bit more subdued. She plays a little bit more of an innocent character, a little bit more stripped down, a little bit more insecure with herself. So, in Resident Evil, when she goes into a room, often she is the most badass person in the room, for sure. And it takes a lot of that away in this movie and kind of brings her back down to less superhero-ish, less like a superhero, more like an actual human being. So she kind of played it really well, having that type of insecurity throughout the course of the film. And it's kind of neat because it starts off as she's really timid and insecure and kind of like a PTSD type thing. And then as the film, goes throughout, like, her badass kind of arcs up as she keeps getting tougher and tougher throughout the course of the film, but nothing that's ever over the top like they do in Resident Evil. So really good flick. I really enjoyed it. Didn't do that great in the theaters, and obviously it went straight to video here in the US, but still worth the watch. Pierce Brosnan does a great job being Pierce Brosnan, and Robert Forster, God bless him, another amazing actor. One of his later things that he did, along with like Breaking Bad, it was one of the last things he got to do before he passed. So, and Dylan McDermott, He's always good at what he does. He's a pretty solid actor as well. So good flick. Probably 6 out of 10 for me. Nothing too crazy, but definitely worth the watch if you're into international spy thriller type stuff like that. So kind of piggybacking off of Operation Capricorn from the Mustache and the Beard last month. It's still a spy flick, but it's also a badass chick doing badass things. The next one I want to talk about is going to be Jennifer Garner, who's another great actress, but we also know that she can kick ass in shows such as Alias, where she kicked butt all the time. She was Elektra, and even though the movie wasn't that great, her acting ability and her ability to fight and be badass was spot on. She's good at what she does. She has done weapons training, she has done martial arts training, she has done MMA training, so she can definitely throw down if she has to, and she did a lot of that going into this next film that we're going to talk about. It's 2018's Peppermint. Peppermint is a 2018 American action thriller film directed by Pierre Morel, starring Jennifer Garner and John Ortiz. The plot follows a mother who transforms herself into a vigilante in a quest for revenge against a drug lord that killed her husband and daughter. Riley North is working as a banker in Los Angeles, struggling to make ends meet. Her husband Chris owns a failing mechanical shop. They have a 10-year-old daughter, Carly. Chris's friend talks him into trying to rob Diego Garcia, a powerful drug lord. Chris turns him down, but not before Garcia has already discovered his involvement and ordered his men to make an example of him. Riley and Chris take Carly out for pizza to a carnival on her birthday since no one showed up at her party, and as the family walks to the car, Diego's men gun down Riley's husband and daughter in a drive-by shooting. She is wounded but survives. Despite her injuries, Riley is able to positively identify the shooters. But the detectives handling the case are hesitant to pursue charges against the three men, as they are members of Garcia's drug cartel, and the cartel wields considerable influence over the police department. I really like this film. I'm a big Jennifer Garner fan as it is, and this was a really, really good step for her. She had done Alias and she had done Elektra, and those were back in like the early 2000s, and then she did like 13 Going on 30, which was also pretty fun. But she had kind of stepped away from acting to raise her kids that she had with Ben Affleck, and then she had the whole messy divorce and everything, and she's been doing Capital One commercials and some other stuff. She hasn't done anything necessarily action-packed or hardcore for quite some time. So in 2018 when she did this was a really refreshing to see her back doing this stuff. She had gone through weapons training and MMA training before the film. And the other cool thing is that they teamed her up again with the same stunt woman that's been her stunt double for like the last 20 years, going all the way back to like Alias. Shanna Duggins or something like that. But they're not only is it like her stunt double, but they're actually really good friends in real life, which probably made the transition a little easier. Like, hey, I'm going to go do this action movie. It's like, well, I'll be your stunt double, so let's do it. So Duggins should get some credit on that too, especially to play the same actress for 2 decades. It's got to be some sort of good job stability there. But the movie was fairly successful. It was like a $25 million budgeted film. It ended up doing like $54 million. Didn't do well with the critics, honestly. The Metacritics didn't seem to like it. I mean, it is kind of a played out, again, storyline. Nothing new that we haven't seen before. But I mean, vigilante, dirty cops. I like John Ortiz in this movie, by the way. If you're not familiar with him, he played Campos in the Fast and Furious films. So it was kind of nice to see him go from basically the drug cartel guy to actually being the lead detective on something, and trying to piece together what is going on in the city. And it's a really good movie. I really liked it. Jennifer Garner does an exceptional job with everything she does, but really this movie was pretty top notch. The action sequences were really well done, and just an all around good movie. The critics, I said, didn't like it, but the audiences, from what I read online and stuff like that, they seem to have a better reception of the movie, kind of like myself. something like that. We're not looking to change the world with a film like that. We're looking for a good action piece with good action sequences and a stable, good storyline. Nothing that's crappy and filled with a lot of plot holes. So it was pretty solid in my opinion. And the last one I want to talk about, again, another badass chick, Women's Empowerment Month at the Mustache and the Beard, and I'm going to piggyback on that. But Kate Beckinsale, another woman that is hands down a badass. Anybody that's watched any of the Underworld movies knows she can throw down. Even early renditions of her stuff, like Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman back in 2004. Not a great film, but she still was a badass in that. And she did a movie in 2021, the most recent one we're going to talk about for Amazon Prime, called Jolt. Jolt is a 2021 American action film adapted from a screenplay written by Scott Washa and directed by Tanya Wexler. The film stars Kate Beckinsale, Laverne Cox, Stanley Tucci, and Jay Courtney. Lindsay Lewis, played by Kate Beckinsale, suffers from intermittent explosive disorder, which is triggered by interactions with people. She has been seeing a psychiatrist, Dr. Ivan Munchin, who's played by Tucci, who has been attempting to treat her disorder with an electroshock therapy vest, which is slowly becoming less and less effective. He advises her she should try forming a relationship with someone as another path of treatment. Against her better judgment, she goes on a date with an accountant named Justin, who's played by Jay Courtney, with whom she gets along very well. Just before their next date, she discovers that he has been murdered, and after the police seem indifferent to his killing, she goes on a hunt for the killer. The film also features Bobby Cannavale and Gareth Bradley, who's one of the bad guys. That's actually Kate Beckinsale's godfather. And it also has a cameo from Susan Sarandon in it as well. Really fun movie. Kate Beckinsale does what Kate Beckinsale does. She kicks ass. And it's funny that the disorder that she has, intermittent explosive disorder, I mean, it's IED, just like the bombs in the war on terrorism, and improvised explosive device. Anyways, I don't know that it's a real disorder. People might struggle with something kind of like that, like an anger management type thing. But either way, she has to wear this vest, and when she starts feeling the urge to kick someone's ass come on, she hits a button, shocks herself, and goes on about her day. But she does go on a date with Jay Courtney's character, which I really... He was probably the biggest takeaway from this movie for me. I was pleasantly surprised with his ability to play her date slash boyfriend, if you will. It's really funny because it's such a huge step away from what Jay Courtney usually does. And he usually plays kind of an asshole, bad guy, dickhead. And, the beginning of this movie, I'm like, I was watching it. I couldn't even piece together that it was actually him. I'm like, who is this guy? He doesn't look like Jay Courtney usually does. He's clean shaven. He's got glasses on. He looks like he does your taxes. Well, he does play an accountant in the film. So, but, towards the end of the film, Jay Courtney shows back up, and he's a complete asshole, and it's like, there he is. There's the Jay Courtney that I love and know. But he was the biggest takeaway. I could definitely see him. He actually got to show some range in this film, being something that's like a polar opposite of what he usually plays. But Kate Beckinsale, as always, does an amazing job throwing down, kicking butt. She plays her character with a very good, specific type of intensity that comes across screen very well. It was released on Prime back in July. I saw it. I saw the trailers. I gotta watch it. It looks awesome. And I mean, my wife loves Kate Beckinsale. She's got all the Underworld movies. She absolutely loves the Underworld series. And so it was a good time for everybody. I recommend it highly. I recommend any three of these films, really. Badass women doing badass things and showing their counterparts that they can throw down just as well as the rest of them. So That's that for this video. I will be doing more videos this month on women's empowerment, whether you like it or not. But I've also got some Batman stuff coming as well, because I'm going to see the Batman this weekend. I'm going to be doing some Batman videos this month as well on some of the actors that are in the Batman. You can also check out my other stuff. Please like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. You can watch last year's Cynthia Rothrock video. You can also head over to the mustacheandthebeard.com to check out the blog that I wrote for them. Plus, my buddy Louie also just wrote a really good review on Cami Garcia, who was a writer for DC Comics. And she had done in 2018, she had done a rendition of Teen Titans and focused in on Rachel Roth / Raven, which was really well written, his blog and the comic itself. So be sure to check that out as well. And like, subscribe, comment, share the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.